Hello dear students. Today we are going to study organs of speech and speech mechanism. This is a video presentation for the students of MA 3rd Sem, Unit 3 Phonetics, Paper 2 English Language. I am Dr. Abha Pandey, Professor and Head Department of English, Government Mahakoshal Arts and Commerce College, Jabalpur. In this course of English language, we study linguistics. As we all know, linguistics is a scientific study of language. Its subfields are phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. Unit 3 deals with phonetics and phonology. Phonetics deals with the production, transmission, and reception of speech sounds. Today we shall be dealing with the first part, that is production, also known as articulation of speech sounds. For the articulation of speech sounds, we need to study the organs of speech and speech mechanism. The objective of the course is to familiarize students with different stages of speech production and to make them understand the need of learning pronunciation. Outcome is the participants will develop the ability to understand and speak effectively and learn the skills of listening and speaking English language. The need to study this topic is that learning second language requires conscious learning of pronunciation. Why are we going to study this course? This is the outline of the course. What we are going to study: the speech process, the speech mechanism, the organs of speech, the airstream mechanism, states of glottis, the soft palate, the role and function of tongue and the lips in production of speech sound. With the speech process. Speech process is a complicated series of events. The concept is first framed in the brain. This stage is known as the linguistic or psychological stage. The nervous system then transmits the message to the organs of speech, which move to produce particular sound patterns. This is known as the articulatory or the physiological stage. The movement of the speech organs causes disturbance in the air. This stage is known as the physical or acoustic stage. And this communication involves a listener too. Hence, the listening process, that is auditing or perception and cognition or decoding stage, is also included. The speech mechanism involves the systems of the body from head to abdomen, which are involved in production of speech. The three systems involved in production of speech are the respiratory system, the phonatory system, and the articulatory system. The respiratory system includes the muscles of the chest and the lungs and the trachea. The phonatory system includes the larynx, the vocal cords, and the glottis. The articulatory system consists of the nose, the mouth, including the tongue, the teeth, the roof of the mouth, and the lips. Here is the tree diagram representing the three body systems required for production of speech. As we can see, the respiratory system, the phonatory system, and the articulatory system. The respiratory system includes lungs, muscles of the chest, and trachea. The phonatory system includes the larynx, the vocal cords, and the glottis. The articulatory system consists of pharynx, lips, teeth, roof of the mouth, tongue. This can be represented through a diagram in which we can clearly see the lips, the teeth ridge, the vocal cords, glottis, hard palate, soft palate, uvula, pharynx, tongue, larynx, glottis, the trachea and the windpipe. As we all know that for production of sound, air is required. The air which is expelled from the lungs, which we exhale through our mouth, when we speak the air comes out of the mouth. So the airstream mechanism is required for production of sound. There are three types of air mechanisms. The pulmonic, lungs and the respiratory muscles act as the initiator. The glottalic, here the larynx and the glottis initiates the airstream, and the third is the velaric, where the back of the tongue and soft palate initiate the airstream. These airstream can be aggressive when the air is pushed out. Sounds of English and Hindi are produced with aggressive pulmonic airstream, or it can be ingressive when the air is pulled in. Sindhi has some sounds which are produced with ingressive glottalic air. This is the diagram of the larynx. The pulmonic aggressive airstream on its way out passes through the trachea and larynx. Inside the larynx are the vocal cords, which may assume open or closed position. The opening is called the glottis. When we breathe in and out, the glottis is open during inspiration. Closed glottis is assumed during phonation. As mentioned earlier, the vocal cords can be drawn apart or can be brought together. So there are four states of glottis. The open glottis, when the vocal cords are drawn apart, this stage is during the breathing position. The sounds that are produced are voiceless sounds. The sounds are p, t, k, p, s, th, sh, ch and h. When the vocal cords are held close together, the airstream opens the vocal cords with the pressure and the vocal cords vibrate many times during this process. When the glottis is in vibration, voiced sounds are produced. The sounds are b, d, g, v, z, z, j, d, v, n, m, r, j, ing and l. Now these sounds that I have written, these symbols that I have written, they represent the phonetic sounds, because English has 26 alphabets, but English has 44 sounds. So the alphabets, there is no direct connection between the alphabets and the sounds. So the International Phonetic Association has given us the phonetic symbols through which the sounds of English can be represented. The third stage is the closed glottis, such as during cough and hiccups, and the narrowed glottis when we whisper. In order to understand how the nasal and oral sounds are produced, we have to understand the structure of the roof of the mouth. The roof of the mouth has four parts. The upper convex area behind the teeth ridge is known as the hard palate. The first is the teeth ridge or the alveolar ridge, followed by the hard palate. And the soft area behind the hard palate is the soft palate. The uvula is the fleshy structure at the end of the soft. The state of the soft palate decides whether the oral sound will be produced or the nasal or nasalized sounds will be produced. As you can see through this tree diagram, when the velum or the soft palate is raised, nasal passage is blocked, oral sounds are produced. But when the soft palate is lowered, the nasal passage is open. There are two conditions: oral passage is blocked, nasal sounds are produced, or oral passage is open and nasalized sounds The production of nasal and oral sounds is represented by means of this diagram. The arrows show the passage of air through the oral cavity in the second diagram, producing oral sounds when the velum is raised. When the velum is lowered, the air stream passes through the nasal passage or sometimes through the nasal and oral passage, producing nasal and nasalized sound such as m, n, etc. The tongue is the most important organ in the production of speech sounds. The parts of the tongue are tip, blade, front, back, and rim. The lips assume different shapes in the production of vowel and consonant sounds. Closing the lips and then releasing them the closure abruptly, the sound is produced with an explosion such as put and boot. Lip position can be spread lip position as in cheese. It can be neutral. It can be open as in ah. It can be close rounded as in oo, and it can be open rounded as in o. The organs of speech required for production of sounds are also known as articulators, as the branch of phonetics which deals with the production of sound is known as the articulatory phonetics. So we have the active articulators and the passive articulators. The lower lip and the tongue are the active articulators. The passive articulators are the upper lip, the upper teeth, the roof of the mouth, and the back of the wall or throat, which is also known as the pharynx. In the production of the consonant, the active articulator is moved towards the passive articulator. And now it's time to sum up. What have we learned? We have learned the speech process. Under speech process, we studied that it is a complicated process. It involves the psychological, physiological, physical, and cognitive stage. We studied the body mechanism involved in production of speech and the systems of body required for speech production are the respiratory system, phonatory system, and the articulatory system. Including the organs of speech, we also noted that speech is an overlaid function. The mechanism of speech. Under the mechanism of speech, we studied the airstream mechanism, and the three types of airstream mechanism were pulmonic, glottalic, and valeric. We noted that the pulmonic egressive airstream mechanism is required for the production of speech sounds. Then we also studied the organs of speech and their function. We focused on the function of glottis in production of voiced and voiceless sounds, the function of velum in production of oral and nasal sounds, the function of tongue and the lips, and we also noted which are the active articulators and which one are known as the passive. And now it is time for assessment. So let us begin. In the articulation of nasal sounds, the dash is lowered and the air passes through the nose. And here are your options: hard palate, tongue, upper lip, or the soft palate. And the right answer is the soft palate. The second question. The articulator is called the voice box. The options are pharynx, palate, larynx, or the tongue. And the right answer is pharynx. Question number 3. Which of the following is an active articulator? The options are a lower lip, B. alveolar ridge, C. hard palate, and D. upper teeth. Which is the right option? The right option is the lower lip. What we have studied today is the basic of phonetics, but this basic has very wide implication. The scope is unlimited. It can be used as basics in speech synthesis, in signal processing, in making synthetic speech, in artificial intelligence, in the machine language, and the robotics. So you see, everything that begins with a basic can be built up high. If you wish to learn more, there are a few references: an introduction to pronunciation of English, better English pronunciation, and there is a course organized by Department of Distance Learning Education, the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. In this course, the block 1 is based on phonetics and spoken English. You can also refer to Elements of General Phonetics, published from Edinburgh University Press, or A Comprehensive Grammar of English Language, published from London. And now it's time for feedback, for observations, for doubts, for your questions. And I rest my tongue. Thank you.